Hello all, Shadowsun here. Welcome back to my channel. This is the second installment in the meditation series. Part 1 will be linked below if you haven't seen it. I apologize, I'm recording this video way later than I intended. I had planned on recording this video the same day, but things got chaotic. Also, the light was kind of fading and I didn't want to record this in the dark. And today is actually really cloudy too, so anyway, hope this lighting is okay. Anyhow, I want to get into different types of meditation in this part of the series, different ways you can start meditating, so how to meditate, and I want to give you some tips because I feel like with meditation, everybody has these wide variety of ways to do it, and I wanted to give some examples. So we'll start with types. So as I mentioned in the blog post that's linked below in the description, there's different types of meditations. And there's meditations for mindfulness where you're just focusing on, say, for example, your thoughts. You're not judging them, you're not thinking about them in a particular way, you're just observing and, not interacting with those thoughts. You're being very mindful of what those thoughts are, but you're not interacting with those thoughts, if that makes sense. And then you have guided meditations where somebody is guiding you through, say, for example, a basic breathing exercise or a journey. Or you might have a guided meditation where they help you go through one specific aspect of something. So I've done a guided meditation recently on courage, which also is discussed in the post in terms of concepts. So another type you could do, and this is just not the only way to do guided meditations or mindfulness, there's different ways. Another type you could do is meditation for focus. This could be a basic breathing exercise, which also can be guided or not guided. It's depending on you whether you want to try one or the other. And that basic breathing exercise could be just you focusing on your breath and focusing on the inhalation and exhalation of your breathing. Also, you can have a meditation where you focus on, say, an object. So I was giving the example of the spring equinox, which is coming up this week on Saturday. And I was thinking about rebirth, and this is where you can also meditate on a concept. And I know some people struggle with the idea of meditating on a concept, but let's say you're looking at rebirth. I might ask questions, while I'm thinking of the meditation, or just trying to meditate on that concept of what is rebirth to me, and have I gone through a rebirth? And you might meditate on just the idea of what rebirth is and how we see it in nature, for example. Another good example for focus would be meditating, and for concepts wise, you can meditate on a specific spell that you might be casting. So if you're trying to do something for prosperity, you could meditate on what prosperity is. What do you think of when you think of prosperity? These are just some examples. There are so many other types of examples for concepts that you can meditate on. You can meditate on something as basic as, what is a spell, or you can meditate on a symbol, and you can use objects if you need something to help you focus on. I thought about using an egg for the rebirth example, or money, or a candle, like a green candle if you want to focus on prosperity, or maybe you want to focus on the growth part of prosperity, being prosperous, as an example. Another good example would be meditating on just a basic breathing, or even walking. Walking, I feel like some people get really caught up in, like they don't really get how walking could be is an active meditation. But it can be because you are focusing on the movement of you walking, your body's movement, and also your surroundings. And a lot of people don't pay attention to their surroundings. And when they don't pay attention to their surroundings, they're not paying attention to how their body is being moved with intention and focus. And that can help you too. For example, you could focus on your body's movements as you step forward, or you could focus on your surroundings as in a sound. I know some people who like to use different sounds. So you could focus on chirping birds or something. I'm sorry for the background noise. And one other thing I want to mention before I go into how to do meditation is we'll do like a basic breathing example. So let's say you are doing a thing for focus and you want to be able to concentrate and focus more. Well, meditation can help with that, because when you're focusing on your breathing, you could put your hand on your chest or on your stomach. As I just did, I put my hand on my chest briefly and my hand on my stomach briefly. And you can feel the rising and falling of whichever, and if it's different for you, then you just focus on the sound of your breathing. Also, you can use counting. Counting is a way of focusing as well. So if I inhale and exhale, and I counted to 4 when I did that. So you inhale, count to 4, exhale, count to 4. I like to use 4, but if you can't, just start with something really simple. Maybe it's 2 or 3 counts, just as long as it's the same one as you start with. So if you start with 3, you end with 3. And don't force your breathing, just let it flow. If it feels uncomfortable, feel free to stop. So these are just different types that you can do. And as far as how to meditate, there's so many different ways. You can use, like I said, guided meditation, but breathing meditations are a good one to try. You could try setting a timer to help you. I didn't mention that in the post, but you could do meditations for a specific period of time. I did mention that. Maybe you start with 10 minutes and you set a timer for 10 minutes and you want to focus on your breathing. You do that. Or maybe you want to do a meditation on a specific concept. You might spend 10 minutes thinking about the concept of, say, for example, if you're doing a ritual, and you want to do a ritual on rebirth, or you want to do a ritual on new beginnings. What are new beginnings? What's an example of a new beginning? What type of new beginning are you planning to do or planning to work on? Or if you're doing a spell for protection, what is protection to you? So on and so forth. You might start with 10 minutes and then you might increase it. Or you might start with just a guided meditation that helps you, guide you through a specific journey. Maybe you want to incorporate that into a ritual. And it doesn't matter what ritual you're doing, you can incorporate that before, during, or after. I've done that. Or I've done it where if I'm doing a spell or before I'm doing a spell and I want to just get clear on things, I want to do a meditation for clarity, I might do a guided meditation on that. Or I might do a guided meditation to help me concentrate, so that I'm able to focus on the spell I'm trying to cast. Other ways you can try to meditate as well are just, start with, like I said, breathing. You can also start with using whatever you have around you. So if all you have is music and you like music, I like to use music in my practice, so you can use music as a way of meditating as well. So you can use music to help you meditate, even if it's like just non-lyrical music, like the sounds of a waterfall or the sound of a piano with some birds, or maybe you have a specific song that you like to listen to that has no lyrics. I find that no lyrics helps because when I listen to music with lyrics, I'm distracted. But also the beat can help too. But I would try something with no lyrics first to help with that. Those are just some ways you can get started with meditation. I encourage you to research different ways to do it, because everybody's going to be different and you want to make sure that you do so. And I'm going to have a resource for each type that I cover. So focus, guided, mindfulness, and now we're going to get into altered states of consciousness. So I mentioned in my previous post on the blog and in the video that I think that meditation is a way of altering your state of consciousness, and how that might work is going to be different for so many different people. So when I say an altered state of consciousness, I think of, say, for example, when you are sleeping, you're in a different state of consciousness, and there's like scientific evidence that talk about different brainwave patterns and the like, and I'll have a resource on that in the last part of the series. But when you're sleeping, you are in a different state of consciousness than when you are awake, and vice versa. When you're awake, you're in a different state of consciousness. And the difference when you're in an altered state of consciousness, when you're meditating, is I feel like you're aware of your surroundings, but you're mentally in a different mindset, if you will. Your consciousness it may be in a more higher vibration or frequency, or to keep it more simplified, you're just in a different frame of mind, your consciousness is in a different state of being. So you might be just focused on what you're meditating on. So I like to, for example, I look at it like a trance, in a very light trance. For example, when I do ritual and spell work, I like to be in a light meditative state so that my consciousness is, more focused, and I'm more consciously aware of my surroundings. But I am not focused on the everyday aspects of life. I'm not focused on bills. I'm not focused on chores. I'm not focused on cleaning. I'm not focused on random other things. I'm focused on the spell I'm working on. I'm focused on casting my spell for prosperity, or my spell for protection, or my spell for balance, or a spell to keep me motivated, or if I'm doing a ritual or I'm trying to connect with a deity or spirit. I want my consciousness to be in a different form, if you will, in order to help. And that could be in a different way. I like to use sound to help me with that. Maybe it's a singing bowl, maybe it's a drum, maybe it's just me tapping on something, or I'm burning an incense that's specifically used for meditation. I might be burning a particular herb. I might do a smudging. It depends. It's going to depend on how far I want to get into it when I'm in that, different altered state of consciousness, and I'm able to be in a deeper form of meditation. Or maybe I want to just do a guided meditation on just, raising my consciousness level up by using binaural beats. I didn't mention this in the post, but I know some people like binaural beats. For myself, binaural beats do not work for me. I find that they bother me a lot, but I'm not sure exactly why. That said, if they work for you, go with it. And you might have to do some trial and error in terms of, getting your consciousness level up. It might take a little bit. Maybe you try binaural beats for a little while and they don't work. That's cool too. Maybe you try incense. If that doesn't work, maybe you need to do something that just keeps you calm and centered, whatever you have to do. But meditation is very beneficial to connecting with the divine, with spirits. Also beneficial for just your own practice of magic, because it's going to allow you to concentrate and focus. So that leads me to the tips, everybody. So I want to keep it simple. I want to keep it straightforward for everyone. So first thing I want to say is start small. You don't have to sit cross-legged on the floor. You don't have to do anything like that, as we've seen. You could do walking. You could do breathing. You could stand up. I've meditated standing up. No harm. Start with something small. If you need to do 5 minutes, that's totally fine. And, start with one type of meditation. So let's say you want to work on concentration. Maybe you struggle with just focusing on your breathing. Maybe you're distracted. That is perfectly fine. Maybe start with a couple guided meditations. And that brings me to my next point. Try it for a little bit of a period of time. Maybe it's 5 minutes for a week. Maybe it's 10 minutes for a week. But try it for a week or more to see which one works. And if that meditation type doesn't work after a week, that's perfectly fine. Try a different type. But I would also just keep it very simple, keep it straightforward. Don't try to do too many concepts at once, or try to do too many things at once. And I would also recommend trying out a type that is different from ones you've already tried. So if you tried guided meditations, try little to no guided meditations. If you've tried breathing exercises, then try meditating on a concept. Keep the concept straightforward if you want to do something simple. If you want to do something really simple, meditate on money. And I know that sounds weird, but just work with me here. Just meditate on your views of something and what that means for you and what that's going to do, especially if you're practicing magic. It's going to get you clear on the next time you cast a spell for money. You're going to be very clear about what that is, what you want to do with it, and that sort of thing. And meditating is going to help you stay focused. Like I said, can't stress that enough. I would highly recommend also just taking your time. Don't rush the process. Don't feel like you have to do it all at once. And I do mention more tips in the blog post, so I would highly recommend you check out that blog post. If you like what you've seen so far, please stay tuned. In the last part of the series, it's coming up this week, I'm going to be giving some last minute thoughts. And if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment on this video or in the blog post as well. Feel free. Send me an email. Link is in the description below. And if you like what you see so far, please like, subscribe, and I will speak to you all soon. Many blessings.